Hey everyone, it's Khalil from Cagefront here. We are back with another predictions and breakdown video for UFC 320 Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira taking place in Vegas in the coming week. And we have a stacked card here. We have got Ankalaev and Pereira in their rematch. We have got Merab Dvalishvili versus Cory Sandhagen in the co-main event for the bantamweight title. And we have got a feature fight casually with Jiri, Prochazka and Khalil Rountree, which is going to be absolute fucking carnage. So I'm very keen to get into this. We're going to get into all of the best fights on the card and also giving out all of my fight card awards on the card. Kicking it off first off with Daniel Santos versus Joo Sung Yoo. Now this is actually, to kick off, one of the hardest fights for me to predict because Daniel Santos, he's been kind of hit or miss in the UFC. He's had some wins, he's had some losses. He had a really good win against Jung Sung Park in his last fight, which he really showed a good ground game, like his control-based game. He had over a full round of control time in that 15 minutes, and he's got the Muay Thai base. He's a very clean striker when he's on the offensive. And I say that because when we look at Joo Sung Yoo, he's someone that hasn't had as much experience as Daniel Santos. But Joo Sung Yoo, what he did to Jakub is absolutely no joke. Clipped him with a short hook and just freaking killed him. He died. He's gone. I think he's out of the UFC now. I mean, I'm going to be surprised if he's actually alive. Like, that was a ridiculously disgusting finish, and Joo Sung Yoo has a lot of hype on his name, and these odds are pretty closed. I mean, we got $1.76 to $2.05, so very close odds. Now Daniel Santos having the more experience in the UFC and against better opposition, kind of understandable that he is the favorite here, but Joo Sung Yoo obviously having so much talent through the Korean regional scene as well as just the regional scene in general, coming through and having a debut performance like that, there is obviously that hype on his name, and he does have a 4-inch reach advantage here. He's super damn accurate with his striking, and he's better when it comes to overall timing than Daniel Santos. Daniel Santos is obviously out of shooter box. He trains with Charles Oliveira and everything. He is a very good fighter and does have a well-rounded game overall. But the thing that I really don't like about Daniel Santos, especially against a striker like Joo Sung Yoo with his accuracy and pedigree, is Santos's strike absorption rate. He almost absorbs like 4 to 5 strikes per minute, significant strikes per minute, which against a guy like Joo Sung Yoo, he's really going to be able to capitalize on that and make that count. Because Daniel Santos, great with his forward pressure, just really getting into those kind of firefights, but he does take damage himself. And with Joo Sung Yoo and his accuracy, if he's getting off the mark in the first round quick, he could take Santos out. But I'm going to take Joo Sung Yoo by a decision here. I'm going to take him by a decision because I do believe that Daniel Santos has that opportunity to get Joo Sung Yoo to the ground and get some control time there. But when it comes to Joo Sung Yoo on the ground, we haven't actually necessarily seen any flaws from him through the regional scene. And Daniel Santos, in terms of overall wrestling, isn't the greatest, but his jiu-jitsu itself is very good. So that's where it is a bit of a hit or miss as to whether Daniel Santos is actually going to get Joo Sung Yoo to the ground, or is Joo Sung Yoo going to be able to defend the takedowns. And I think he's going to be able to defend some. And when he's defending some, I just think he has the advantage on the feet here. I think his strike accuracy is just there. He's got the better timing overall. And honestly, if he's an underdog here like this, I've got to give him my fighter to watch award. Because after what he did to Jakub, if he's beating one of Shooter Box's best talents in that camp, he's on a real hot start in the UFC as one of the best Korean prospects who is undefeated at the moment and has a lot of momentum. So I've got to give him the win here and the fighter to watch award here. Next up, we got Patchy Mix versus Jakub Wiklacz. Now, Jakub Wiklacz, I might be butchering that name. I do apologize in advance. But he's coming in to fight Patchy Mix, and the MMA space has been pretty hot on Jakub to beat Patchy Mix. And I will say I've seen a fair few fights of his in KSW. He has been a champion there at 135. And he's looked pretty decent, I will say, when it comes to especially the ground game. As we can see here, 10-1 when it comes to submissions. He's good at submissions off of his back. Very dangerous with triangle chokes, dangerous with guillotines. And we know Patchy Mix to a decent extent. If you haven't seen his fighter spotlight video of mine that I released, I'll leave it in the description below. It talks all about his skill set. But Patchy Mix obviously didn't have the hottest start in the UFC against Mario Bautista, everyone's favorite fighter. He didn't have the hottest start. He had kept that head on the center line, just was an absolute statue. Granted, durable as hell, but I mean, he just got outstruck completely, didn't he? He froze. He didn't use the best part of his game, which is his grappling. And when I say the grappling, especially when we're looking at this matchup, the grappling is going to be extremely interesting if it gets there, because Wiklacz is no joke on the ground, and obviously Patchy Mix isn't either. 13-0 with submissions. Now, Patchy Mix is the better wrestler out of the two of them, I will say. And Patchy, when it comes to dictating pace, he's very, very good. I think that if he is on that front foot and pushing Wiklacz back, he's going to find a lot of success, because I will say, I don't like Wiklacz's striking pretty much at all, to be honest, unless he's using a 1, a 2, or a teep up the middle. Straight shots, he's decent. Hooks, anything else other than that, just pretty shit, to be honest. I'm not a fan. You can see 0-2 when it comes to KOs. I'm not a big fan of his when it comes to the striking in general. Patchy Mix, not really a fan of his either, as we know from that Bautista fight, but I do think he is just better than Wiklacz. He's got better body kicks. He's better with his 1-2s as well, to be honest. More stiff shots, better in close-knit exchanges as well. And he is the more durable guy, but both of them are durable as hell. There's something weird with Polish fighters, and not necessarily their durability, but their recovery. Wiklacz is like literally in his last title fight, got dropped like twice in the first round, got straight back up, recovered instantly. It's like when Gamrot gets hurt, like by Dan Hooker or something, gets straight back up, or even against Benil Dariush. Just their recovery is absolutely insane. So Patchy Mix got the durability, Jakub has got the recovery there. So in terms of a finish ultimately on the feet, I'm going to be pretty surprised if there's going to be one. Now on the ground, if it does get there, I think Mix has the better wrestling pedigree overall to get more so advantageous positions. And he's just that skilled as a black belt. I don't see him really getting hooked up in any form of triangle or anything like that. I don't think Wiklacz is going to have the tools ultimately to get Patchy Mix out of there in any way. And I think Patchy Mix is just better at maintaining pressure, to be honest. And that's where I think he's going to get a 29-28 decision. Now, why don't I think he's going to get a 30-27? Because his striking still kind of sucks. And when it comes to Wiklacz, he kind of just throws random shit at times. So I do think that it's going to be a very awkward striking battle. And I think that's where Jakub can land some random shots on Patchy Mix to the point where he could edge around, to be honest. And then Patchy Mix, when it comes to overall wrestling, using a more superior grappling game, especially with the experience that he's had that's just better than Jakub's, I think Patchy Mix is going to take 2 of those rounds. It's going to be a really awkward, weird fight, but I hope we get mainly grappling in this one, because that's the part that's probably going to make it interesting. But I think Patchy Mix, I think he's going to redeem himself in the UFC here. Now, moving on the card, we got Veronica Hardy versus Brogan Walker. Now, I know you're going to be saying, Callum, you said you'd be predicting and breaking down the best fights on this card. This is by far not the best fight, but I am going to be predicting and breaking down this fight because there's a performance award in here, and it's going to be for Veronica Hardy. Honestly, Veronica Hardy is going to destroy Brogan Walker. Brogan Walker seriously just doesn't stand a chance. She's not UFC caliber. She's been taken out by Juliana Miller, and Veronica Hardy absolutely annihilated Juliana Miller. Like, I mean, there's just levels to this game, and Hardy at flyweight with her movement, her strike speed, even when it comes to grappling as well, she will literally just do whatever she wants in this fight. If she loses this fight, that is every single person's multi out the fucking window. I can say that right now, except for maybe Brogan Walker's family or some shit. Brogan Walker, a 5-1 underdog. $5, I agree with it. Could be more, to be honest. I don't know how Brogan Walker's in the UFC. She's just not good. There's not really any good striking there. No grappling, anything. Veronica Hardy is going to take her out in probably the second round or so. I think she's going to be finding her feet in the first round, just getting a bit of a mix-up, a bit of a gist with that movement, finding her pace, finding her range. In the second round, she's going to be teeing off with that taekwondo, and she's just going to take Brogan Walker out. She's going to be way too fast for her, that's for sure. Even with the reach disadvantage, she's so good at getting on the inside as well. Like, we saw that against Juliana Miller. Not much of a hope here. She's getting my Performance of the Night award on this card. She is my lock of the night. Definitely cash this one in. Now, moving on to a more interesting fight, we got Chris Gutierrez versus Farid Basharat. Now, Farid is not Javid. Farid is the one that's still alive. He's the one that's undefeated. Javid is the one that got absolutely annihilated by Ricky Simon. So we've still got one Basharat brother left, and this one is definitely better. He is a very, very good fighter. There is a reason why he is a -500 favorite here against Chris Gutierrez. When it comes to his momentum, his overall strike speed, especially with his kickboxing, his like lead leg strikes, he's very, very good at covering distance and obviously mixing in that control-based game with his wrestling. He looked absolutely fantastic against Victor Hugo in his last fight, which, if you guys don't remember, Victor Hugo had a 10-pound weight difference on his side. So Farid Basharat was taking the fight 10 pounds lighter and still absolutely mauled him. Blitzed him with the 1-2s, did fantastic with his stance switching as well, and just really, really took him out with the control. Just absolutely dominated him. And now, Chris Gutierrez in this matchup, I don't think he should be this much of an underdog, because at the end of the day, Gutierrez has better experience than Basharat, no matter the fact that Basharat is undefeated. He's got momentum and he's got a lot of hype on him. Chris Gutierrez, I say it every time I predict this guy's fights, he is a very tricky puzzle to solve because he's a guy that circles along the outside, uses his kicks as jabs. He's just a very, very difficult puzzle to really manage against, especially if he is moving along the outside and the opponent can't outstrike him. Because Chris Gutierrez, I will say, does have some decent takedown defense, but he's also very fast with those strikes. It just really just chewing the opponent up in the first and second round, and then just going for the kill from there. And that's where Chris Gutierrez is definitely good, but it's just not the right matchup for him, to be honest. Farid Basharat, I think he's got a good matchup on his hands here, and I do agree that he should be the favorite. Not that much of a favorite, but I do think he should be the favorite, and I do have him winning here, to be honest. I've got him winning by a decision. I think they're going to match each other's strike speed in the first round. It's going to be very neck and neck. I think Gutierrez honestly could take that first round, but then Basharat's control is just going to take over. Like, he is going to be able to get Gutierrez to the ground. He's very, very fast with his entries. Very, very good with his striking overall to threaten and make sure that they're really keeping their hands high, so then he can just shoot for the takedown. That's where Farid Basharat finds so much success. And that's where I do believe he's going to take the second and third round off primary control. And he's going to win this fight 29-28, possibly 30-27, if I'm not giving Chris Gutierrez that first round. Now, moving up the card, we got Ateba Gautier versus Ozzy Diaz. Now, I don't know if I need to say too much about this one. Ateba Gautier, the biggest favorite on the card. Ozzy Diaz, he is a big middleweight. Very big middleweight. Got to give him that. He's moving down from light heavyweight. Yeah. I'm just not going to really do much, to be honest. Gautier is going to take him out. Like, Ozzy Diaz, he's way too slow. He's way too slow. Doesn't have any real technical striking to just outwork Gautier. He doesn't have the ground game advantage realistically in any sense. Gautier is extremely strong at the hips. Like, I think it's just going to be a matter of minutes before Gautier takes him out in this one. Pretty plain and simple. He's getting my finish of the night award here because it's just a lock when it comes to the finish. Ozzy Diaz is kind of just like a free win up the grease pole for Ateba Gautier to really get up to a higher ranking. That's pretty much it. Just to get another name. Yeah, it's going to be a rough night for Ozzy Diaz. Moving up the card to Edmen Shahbazyan versus Andre Muniz. Now, this is a pretty interesting fight because Edmen Shahbazyan, he's looked really good recently, I've got to say, and it's not only in the striking department. He's actually looked decent with his grappling, especially when it came to the attempts of Andre Petroski. He was doing a very, very good job of stifling those attempts and really, really countering him as well. And Edmen Shahbazyan, I think he's had a real rough patch. You know, he's had a lot of pressure on him to be this big name coming up. And I mean, he's still young. And I think with the performances he's having at the moment, he is looking very good. He's got the KO power, as we all know, and he's becoming more so well-rounded. And the biggest point for him he's becoming more patient. He doesn't just go balls to the wall, throws everything out the window, and then gets GM3'd. He doesn't do that as much now, which is really important against a guy like Andre Muniz, who is 15-1 with submissions. We can't forget that. Even though Andre Muniz is basically a fucking ghost at this point, he's basically not in the UFC. Aside from getting destroyed by Aliskerov this year, he has not fought since 2023. And he had like a split decision against Park and then lost a few fights before that. But aside from that, Andre Muniz has just not been looking good. He does not look good. He looks very exposed on the feet, and that's where Shahbazyan is going to be able to expose him. He's going to be able to expose him on the feet, I do believe. I don't think Muniz has that real takedown offensive threat against an improved Edmen Shahbazyan with his takedown defense, pardon me. I just don't really see Muniz being able to impose his will here. Don't see him being able to get Shahbazyan to the ground. Shahbazyan is going to be able to outwork him on the feet, pressure him backwards. I think he's going to be able to take him out in the first round. Now, moving on to the main card, we have got an absolute rip snorter. We got Joe Pyfer versus Magomedov. Both of these guys know one speed, and that is just kill. Absolute try and rip your head off in the first round type of style. Joe Pyfer, he is the favorite considerably in this matchup. He is obviously big, very, very big, very stocky. He had a fantastic performance against Kelvin Gastelum in the first half of the fight, I will say. I think he got a little bit lackadaisical towards the end of it, but nevertheless, he looked very, very good. And he's got the KO power on his side. And Magomedov, as we know, he does too. He's extremely fast, and I will say he is faster than Joe Pyfer. I think Pyfer's got more so one-hit KO power in his hands, but Magomedov definitely has the speed there. He's more proven with the grappling overall, especially in recent times. That Strickland loss was the best thing that ever happened to him, and I think like from that point onwards, he's just really, really rounded out his game. He's become more patient and has been able to really time himself over 3 rounds, and he's a killer in 3 rounds. And I mean, yes, he's 35 now, but he's a guy that just hasn't slowed down recently, and he's just looking extremely, extremely impressive against these guys that are around Joe Pyfer's level, to be honest. And I've got to say it, honestly, I do think Magomedov, I think that strike speed is going to beat Pyfer's power. Now, I'm not 100% confident on this because I'm really basing this down to the strike speed and the pedigree of fighters that Magomedov has consistently been fighting overall. And it's just going to be whoever hits who first is getting dropped like a sack of shit, to be honest. Whoever's getting hurt first, the other is going to capitalize so badly on them. And I mean, if anyone's going to survive on the ground more so out of the two of them, it's Abus from his grappling pedigree, if he's able to just snatch up a leg and like push Pyfer back. But aside from that, I mean, we're clutching at straws, to be honest. I just think whoever hits who first simply is going to just take the other out. And I'm going to take Magomedov at almost 3-1 dog. Honestly, the guy's got the strike speed. He's fought better opposition overall. I think he's going to be able to take this. End of round 1, KO finish in a pretty crazy exchange. Now, moving up the card to a very, very good fight. I'm very keen for this one. This has a lot of questions in it. We got Josh Emmett versus Youssef Zalal. Now, Youssef Zalal, he's a guy that's been pretty interesting in his whole MMA career, to be honest, because he's a guy that had a pretty lackluster start to the UFC. I mean, he casually fought guys like fucking Ilia Topuria and took him to a decision. He lost, but even if you're losing and not getting absolutely annihilated by Ilia Topuria, you call that a win, to be honest. And Youssef Zalal from there left the UFC, technically got cut, and then he's made his way back and he's looked incredible. He's on like a 5-6 fight win streak, I believe, something like that. And he's moved into the rankings. He beat Kelvin Kattar pretty well, and that's where I'm gonna have a bit more of a conversation surrounding this matchup and why there's questions, because Josh Emmett, he is straightforward as a blueprint. He's got a very low center of gravity. He's got all the muscle. He's a muscle nugget that has absolute fucking dynamite in his hands. KOing Bryce Mitchell, that's all we need to know, really. I mean, Josh Emmett, he's 40 years old. Who cares? To be honest, the power just stays there. If he hits you, if he's fucking 80 years old, you're going out. Like, he's just that simple. And Youssef Zalal, if this gets to the ground, Zalal can beat Emmett. He can, but, oh man, I'm sorry, but Youssef Zalal as $1.26 compared to Josh Emmett as $3.75 is fucking insane to me. That, I don't know if I'm just crazy. Please tell me in the comments below if you agree with me, but I think that's absolutely insane. Josh Emmett, with that power equalizer that he has, in combination with Youssef Zalal's last fight against Calvin Kattar. Youssef Zalal was looking fantastic in the fight when he was on the front foot. He was on the front foot for like 10 minutes, and then in that third round, Calvin Kattar had him running, because Kattar just simply decided, oh, I'm actually just gonna jump on the front foot now. He's actually just gonna switch it up. And that's what he did, and Youssef Zalal was not looking comfortable. He was not looking comfortable at all, and that, against Josh Emmett, what, you think Youssef Zalal is gonna pressure Josh Emmett back for 15 whole minutes? Nah, it's not happening. I don't see that happening. I think if Josh Emmett is able to pressure Zalal for a decent amount of this damn fight, which I think he can, I think he can actually KO Youssef Zalal. Obviously, Youssef Zalal is famously known for not getting finished by Ilia Topuria and never being finished in his career. But, I mean, it could be a stretch that Emmett could KO him, but I do think that it could honestly be a decision. Because if you just translate Calvin Kattar starting one round earlier in terms of forward pressuring for the next 10 minutes, he wins the fight. And if Josh Emmett is doing that, which I think he can for at least 2 of the 3 rounds, I don't think Youssef Zalal has the tools to take Emmett out on the back foot. And I don't think he has the ability as a 5'10" fighter to go down to get Josh Emmett's hips at 5'6" to just drag him to the ground. He's not that strong. He does not have that takedown offense overall. And I mean, with the tools he's got on the back foot, the best thing I can think of is honestly like a knee up the middle. Like, he's got fantastic knees from obviously that camp that he's in, Factory X. Like, the knees that they implement, those lead knees, are very dangerous. And if he can implement that, just pop that through onto Emmett's chin or to his body and cripple him, Zalal can definitely win the fight. Like, if Zalal is pressuring Emmett backwards or he gets it to the ground, he wins the fight. But I just don't see it happening. I don't see Emmett allowing that to happen unless something seriously bad happens to Emmett. And as a pretty much 4-1 dog, Emmett is my upset of the night, clearly, by the way I'm acting. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward for me. Like, I think in terms of a stylistic matchup, Josh Emmett should be winning this fight. In terms of the way they've been going in their careers, momentum-wise, Youssef Zalal is the favorite all day. But, I mean, styles make the fights, and I think Josh Emmett, with the style he has, can KO Zalal, or at least beat him by a pretty clear decision. And that's my final statement on that one. Now, moving on to our disgusting feature fight, Jiri Prochazka versus Khalil Rountree. This card is fucking sick. Honestly, one of, if not the best pay-per-view of this year, to be honest. I think, and it's going to seriously deliver. Jiri Prochazka and Khalil Rountree. What do we even need to say about this? It's just like, do we even need to make like an actual analysis on this fight? I think it's just absolute carnage in general. Now, the odds are semi-close-ish. I mean, I can understand both ways. Like, if you want to choose Jiri, choose Jiri. If you want to choose Khalil. Like, I think they've got fantastic ways of winning either way. Jiri Prochazka, super unorthodox. He throws things in wild ways, as we know, spinning elbows. He's got his head like 68 meters off the center line, comes across, throws something and kills Jamal Hill. We all love that. And yeah, he's got ways of doing that to Khalil Rountree. And then Khalil Rountree on the other side, he's got the strike speed like Jiri has never faced before. He looked ridiculous against Jamal Hill, absolutely piecing him apart for 5 rounds, just destroying him and dismantling him, dropped him like 3 or 4 times. Honestly, it's whoever, it's kind of a cop-out, but whoever lands first, it really is. Like, I mean, both of them have so much power in their hands, 37 KOs between them. Khalil is not going to shoot for a fucking takedown. Jiri Prochazka is not going to shoot for a fucking takedown. Someone is going to die. And I think Jiri's going to die. I'm not going to lie. I just think that from that Khalil Rountree fight with Jamal Hill, dude's different. Khalil is evolved. He seriously has evolved. He looked absolutely ridiculous in that fight. The timing on all of his strikes, the knees, the 1-2s, the hooks, the leg, oh my god, the leg kicks were disgusting. The leg kicks, which he can implement against Jiri in this matchup. And Jiri, as we know, has quite a wide base, uses that unorthodox movement, quite a bladed stance. We saw what Alex Pereira did to Yuri's legs, chewed them to bits. Khalil can do the exact same, break up Yuri's base. And Jiri with his head movement, it's obviously high risk to high reward. He got the high reward against Jamal Hill. But Jamal Hill, he got away with that against Jamal Hill because Jamal is nowhere near as fast as Khalil Rountree. And Khalil Rountree, with that strike speed, he's going to be able to capitalize on Yuri's kind of wild movement. I strongly believe that. And being the underdog, I've gone like 3 underdogs in a row, and I'm feeling fairly confident about it, to be honest. I mean, this is probably the most sketchy one next to the Abus and Joe Pyfer one, but I've got to go with Khalil. I just think that with the strike speed, the tools that he mixes up overall against Jiri with a very high risk, high reward style, I just think that Khalil, with those improvements, I think he's got the ability to get it done here. And we can't forget, Jiri, granted he was able to eat some pretty decent shots against Jamal Hill, but man, Jiri got fucked up by Alex Pereira. Like, in both of those fights, that did some consistent damn damage that can carry through to this fight 100%. Same with Khalil, with what happened with Alex Pereira as well. Like, he got a lot of damage on him, but Jiri did not eat it as well as Khalil did. And I think if any of these guys are going to be more so fresher than the other, I think Khalil, honestly, just with that compact power that he has, yeah, I think Jiri Prochazka is going to sleep in honestly, probably the end of the first to the start of the second round. Now, moving on to the co-main event and an absolutely fantastic title fight, Merab Dvalishvili versus Cory Sandhagen. This is a great matchup, and honestly, one of the most difficult matchups, I think, stylistically for Merab ever. And I think we can clearly say that because Cory is so dynamic. We know Cory Sandhagen is very dynamic with his striking, flying knees for days, very, very good, fast, straight strikes as well, very good in the clinch, very good at range. He can strike at all ranges. And I think when it comes to 50-50 base positions, whether it's like equalized momentum on the feet, if they're just both standing in the middle of the octagon, I would edge more so to Cory when it comes to the striking. And when it comes to 50-50 positions on the ground, we know Cory is no joke, but when it comes to obviously the submission offensive threat specifically, before the knives and pitchforks come out, people thinking that I might say that Cory's, better at wrestling than Merab, absolutely fucking not. Cory, with the submission-based offense, he does have the better chances there than Merab does, but there just really isn't an out for Cory here. I don't think that's going to be consistent unless he lands a flying knee, a one-hit killer shot, pretty much like the flying knee, or a submission. Because otherwise, honestly, Merab is just going to be able to dominate him. Like, I just don't see a way that Cory is going to. Firstly, he's not going to outwork Merab. And when it comes to the striking, I mean, the big problem is, like, Cory was nullified against Umar Magomedov when it came to his wrestling-based threat. He was nullified on the feet. Merab is the absolute king of nullifying fighters on the feet. Merab was able to nullify Umar on the feet. That's how much of a ladder this is. Honestly, Merab's just at a different level. And that's where, if Cory's getting nullified by Umar, he is getting nullified by Merab, clearly. And when it comes to the grappling, I mean, if Merab's taking bloody Umar down and then Umar's taking Cory down, don't get me wrong, they're not the exact same matchups. Styles do make fights. But Merab's going to be able to take Cory down. And, like, Merab, when it comes to his control and his overall strength, and especially with Cory's length as well, the big problem is Cory's length. Like, if Merab is inside control, Cory is going to struggle so badly. I just don't see him having a very good time when it comes to being out-controlled inside control or anything that is just passing his legs, because that's exactly, look what happened to Sean O'Malley across 50, well, not 50 minutes, but, up until he got submitted and in the first fight to the second fight. I mean, he just got dominated. He got absolutely dominated. These longer, taller fighters, they're going to struggle against Merab. Merab's too compact. He's just an absolute Tasmanian devil on the ground, has no cardio issues. And the moment that that happens against Cory, I mean, he's just going to drown him out. And this is the same thing that I say for every matchup when it comes to Merab. You either take him out in the first round or he just fucking annihilates you. Like, that's just it. So it's either Cory gets a fucking flying knee straight up the chin, takes Merab out, or Merab absolutely consumes him for 5 rounds. And that's where I think Merab is just simply going to do that. I think he's honestly going to get like a 49-46. I think Merab is going to do the stupid thing of testing himself on the feet in the first round like he does against Henry Cejudo, where he got hurt. He did it against Sean O'Malley. He's done it against like every bloody fighter he's fought. And he's been pretty much hurt in every damn first round. And I think Cory could probably do the same. But then I think it's just going to be the same story again. I think Merab is going to take rounds 2, 3, 4, and 5. I think he's going to out-control Cory. I don't think he's going to be able to take out Cory. I don't see that happening. Cory's a lot more defensively aware when it comes to just grappling in general than Sean O'Malley, easily. And then when it comes to striking, Cory's just so dynamic. I think Merab is going to actually want to take the least amount of chances against Cory. Cory is the most dangerous when it comes to those dynamic shots. And that's where I think Merab, if he's playing the smart game, aside from the first round, he's going to be dominating this one. Now, moving on to the main event, we have Magomed Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira 2, the rematch. Now, I talk all about this matchup, and you may have already seen it on my channel for my hot take for this matchup. So I'm not going to make this one a super long prediction. I mean, the whole prediction at length is in that video. But this is going to be pretty much a matter of who is on the front foot, who is getting pressed back. Whoever is getting pressed on the back foot is going to lose this fight, because there is such a distinct disadvantage for whoever's on the back foot. Case in point, their first fight. Alex Pereira was on the back foot for pretty much 23 minutes out of 25 minutes, and Ankalaev won that fight 49-46. Like, Ankalaev almost took him out in that second round. And I think he's going to take him out in the second round in this fight. And the biggest reason why is the strike speed. Ankalaev is just faster. He's a faster striker. He's defensively sound, has a low strike absorption rate, mixed up his tools like literally perfectly in that first matchup. Leg kicks, body kicks, front kicks, bloody head kicks, 1-2s, flurries of hooks. I can keep going. Like, he literally just mixed up a perfect kickboxing game. Alex Pereira was just not quick enough to the punch. Pereira landed like one decent head kick on Ankalaev. That was it. That was literally it. And now Alex Pereira is the more dangerous of the two of them in terms of raw power. We know that. If Alex Pereira is pushing Ankalaev on the front foot, he has a better chance of taking this fight in terms of an actual just clean knockout. Ankalaev is less dangerous on the front foot than Alex Pereira is on the front foot. Ankalaev is going to take more time to take Alex Pereira out, but I just don't see Ankalaev giving Pereira that opportunity to push him backwards, because Ankalaev mixes up his shots so well, and when Pereira extends and tries to strike first, Ankalaev flurries back so much faster. And I just don't see Alex Pereira surviving this. I don't see it. And like, Ankalaev mixed up a fantastic clinch-based game. Yes, he got all 12 of his takedowns stuffed, but that wasn't the point. The point was to completely stifle Alex Pereira's rhythm, control him, and then just make him reset. And like, he just did that consistently for the 25 minutes. He put on an absolute shutout. And I just, honestly, unless there's some drastic change or Alex Pereira gets him on the front foot and just chins him, I just don't see a difference here. I really don't, because the outside leg kicks weren't working for Pereira. They weren't hurting Ankalaev like Jan Blachowicz were. And if that's not happening, if he's not breaking Ankalaev's base and pushing him backwards and hurting him in the first round or the second round, Ankalaev's taking him out. I think Ankalaev is going to dodge a lead hook from Pereira, get a 2 straight down the pipe, line himself right on that center line perfectly, get the 2 straight down the pipe, drops him down, and Ankalaev TKOs him, gets the ground and pound finish to take this fight, and still, to everyone's absolute hatred, no one wants him as a champion, but you got to give him credit. He's honestly the most well-rounded and most skilled guy in the light heavyweight division, and yeah, he's going to be defending his title here. And with that, I really hope you enjoyed my prediction and breakdown video for UFC 320, and I really hope you enjoy the card when it comes around. And if you haven't already, definitely check out my video here on the screen, and please like, comment, subscribe. It goes a long way for the channel, and I will catch you in the next one.